real quick, this is super periphery, but it's just a question I've had when thinking about realism and stuff like that. We talked about properties, and in my head, I think like Bilbo Baggins has properties, but he doesn't exist. And so I'm having a hard time with that. Like he has this property of being short or a hobbit or whatever, but he's a fictional character, right? So unless he exists in like Tolkien's mind or now in like the book or in your and my mind, I don't know how to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole topic of fictional objects is a difficult one. I mean, there's a lot of philosophical debate over whether, obviously the statement Bilbo Baggins is short is grammatically parallel to my 7-year-old son is short. So there, well, not for his age, I mean, compared to the rest of us. If the statement "my son is short" presupposes the existence of my son, why doesn't Bilbo Baggins is short presuppose the existence of Bilbo Baggins? I think the best solution to that is to recognize that the truth maker for a claim about Bilbo Baggins has to do with it's a truth claim about a fictional world. That is to say that when we make these predications, they're either relative to a frame of reference, a factual frame of reference, the real world, or they are made relative to basically a possible world, but it's a possible world that has been picked out by an author, a creator. In this case, J.R.R. Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien has actually picked out a particular possible world and described it in considerable detail. That doesn't mean that he just discovered the Lord of the Rings and can't take credit for it. Of course, there's a great deal of artistic skill, literary skill in painting a picture of that world for the rest of us. But in essence, what he's done is he's made a claim about a possible being, Bilbo Baggins, in a possible world, and it's true in that world. And so when you evaluate the truth claim, you are implicitly framing it in terms of that fictional world, that possible world that we call Middle Earth, or whatever the world is in which these stories are set. Now, you can't make the same move. Maybe to anticipate a question here, you can't make the same move regarding the laws of logic, because we've argued, well, if a proposition is true, then the proposition has to exist. The laws of logic are not like Bilbo Baggins, to put not too fine a point on it, in that the Bilbo Baggins really is fictional, and J.R.R. Tolkien invented truths about Bilbo Baggins, or at least invented the story, was the creator of the story that makes those truths true for us. But no one invented a story about the laws of logic. And if they did, then we could just come up with another story and another set of truths. And logic isn't like that. It's the same with mathematics. That's why I reject a fictionalist account of mathematics, because I think 2 + 2 = 4 is a truth that is mind independent, it's language independent, it is what it is, regardless of what anyone thinks about it or any fictional schemes we might come up with. It is more real than a fictional story would be, or the objects in a fictional story. I don't know if that's where you wanted to go with that, but I went with it anyway.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because that's just a live question for me. I do really like that, and I'm so glad you anticipated the laws of logic in that one too.